just never know. And he thought he might have to redshirt her, and instead she has been quite an impact player. And so is this one. Stashuk back to serve. Gets it over. The block was there. Stremick gets it, and game one.
And Stremick did a nice job. She reaches to her left a little to take away what you called that really sharp cut shot that time. The set was a little too low, but Stremick doing a great job.
Notre Dame, the serving's been on, the hitting, the blocking, you name it, it's there. They take game one against the Louisville Cardinals here in Big East action. Dabs back in at the setting spot. Pilnikova, I have to wonder if it just hasn't thrown their rhythm off a little bit, making those changes, and the communication off for the Cardinals. Point Notre Dame.
You're right, with the changes, it's like continually switching quarterbacks. At some point, it's hard to get that rhythm.
Game point for Notre Dame here in game two. They would love to go up 2-0. Dabs. Free ball. Fessel. A lot of power in the block. They say out of bounds. Game Notre Dame.
She's not intimidated by the best blocking team in the country. Takes a good whack at it for the point.
Well, they've had some great offense going, and they're up 2-0 here in Big East play. Krista Blunk along with Karch Karai here at Notre Dame, and I'm not totally surprised. I've seen this Notre Dame team do this in the past where they are able to come back in big matches, but they have to be very happy with the way they played.
They have to be really, really happy. They have had some rough matches. They're only 12-12 this year. But this is a phenomenal performance so far. We talked about Adriana Stashuk, an important player for them, hitting 200 on the season. She's hitting almost 400, so she's doubled her efficiency for this match. That's big.
Louisville, 17th in the nation. Let's take a look at some of the other teams, though, in the top 25. There you see the top 10 teams in the AVCA coaches poll. Penn State up there. We've seen
and those
earlier.
teams going hard at each other. Penn State's only 2 losses to Nebraska and Stanford. Nebraska's only lost to Texas at number 3. Texas's only losses 2 to Penn State and 1 to Nebraska. So it's brutal up at the top there. Washington and Stanford in the Pac-10. Southern Cal and California right behind them. Penn State is going to host a regional. That regional is going to be very tough. Stanford's going to host a regional. That's going to be tough too.
That is going to be huge. And when you see how have these teams gotten to this point, well, the top 5 teams, you can take a look at the hitting percentages for these teams and where they rank with their hitting percentage. They're very consistent for the most part.
That's a big indicator of your success as a team. First of all, you have to win the serve and serve-receive battle, and when you do that, you can hit at high efficiency. So these are indications that these teams also control their opponent's serves well, and you can see they're almost the very top 5 in hitting percentage. Expect 3 or 4 of these teams to be seen in mid-December at the Final Four in Sacramento.
Well, the Fighting Irish have been hitting very well here in this one. They are up 2-0 over Louisville here in Big East play. Notre Dame up 2-0 here in Big East play against Louisville, but Louisville coming out here in game 3. They've got the advantage. Lace up your skates for the Ivy League college hockey on ESPNU today as the Colgate Raiders take on the Yale Bulldogs. Hockey on ESPNU Sunday here at 4 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Hockey action here later. We've got volleyball. Basketball is starting up as well. All the sports starting to overlap as we start to look to tournament play in the conferences here in volleyball. The Big East is jumbled up. Notre Dame trying to secure a spot in the Big East tournament, and they've played very well so far.
Yeah, watch Fessel here. She comes in the middle at the last second. Louisville unprepared. She gets a one-on-one blocking situation. Easy put away.
Yeah, not quite certain. A touch off Notre Dame. Point Louisville on that one, but the play before, yeah, not quite certain who was going to get that one, and you could see the block from Louisville. Frustrated, and Debbie Brown not quite as frustrated today with her team, I'm sure. They've strung together 3 wins in a row. They'd love to make it 4. Phillips the tip. Dab sends it back over. Phillips again and got that one. Had to reach behind herself on that one.
Dabbs, again, not using. We just saw Matysiowska go right over the block. Feed your outside hitter the ball. She's giving the ball easily to the other team on 2. If she stays in that habit, that's going to hurt them in the NCAAs. Teams are going to gobble those up and put it away, like Notre Dame just did on that play.
All right, too many free opportunities. Yeah, right there. The second ball, she took it back set. Luckily, they got it back, and Matysiowska able to finish. Just trying to mix up the offense a little too much because they really haven't gotten a rhythm going with one particular player out there. And right now, Notre Dame doing a nice job with the block. Insweiler comes in, gives him a little more size. We had talked about Tarutas causing some problems, but Insweiler a little bit bigger up there.
Absolutely, doing a nice job of, she will be brought in to be a blocker for this Notre Dame team. Nicely done.
Again, the block, just a little more size, and Louisville is thrown off.
Well, I've been in this situation before. It's tough. Louisville really doesn't have to do anything to move on, but this is not the way they want to start their postseason.
Oh, you're absolutely right, and the Cardinals decide to take a timeout. Allen's team, they have been at the top. They were picked number 2 in the preseason, but they have gotten out and on fire. 13-0 coming into this one. St. John's right behind them, but other than that, you can see the jumbled mess. Everybody else playing today, and it's all going to come down to single wins and losses.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the reports here, Pitt won 30-8, 30-20. You see Pitt there at 7-6. They could go to very easily to 8-6. There could be a big log jam. All those teams here, only 8 move on to the conference tournament for the Big East, and that starts in this next weekend. The winner gets a guaranteed berth to the NCAAs. Notre Dame's been to the NCAAs many times in a row, 15 times in a row. The only way they have a hope of getting that berth is to not necessarily win today, but to have to win that postseason tournament. So this would be a great match to build momentum on to try to earn that berth. They would have to win 3 matches in that 8-team tournament next weekend.
Notre Dame has had so much success, even in the Big East play. There's a lot of volleyball action coming up on ESPNU in the very near future. This Big East play right here, the regular season play, but November 18th, the Big East Championships, and right after that on the 19th, the MAC Championships. And then we head into December 8th, the regional finals. All 4 finals will be airing on ESPNU.
And those will be at Wisconsin, at Florida, Penn State, and Stanford, the 4 regionals leading up to the Final 4 at Sacramento.
There's been a lot of movement throughout the national rankings this year. It will be interesting to see how these teams will be seeded, who's going to be placed where, especially the teams in the West with only really one true Western region. Who's going to have to make that travel across country?
And have to play in somebody's home gym.
Yes. Notre Dame going up in this one. Game 2, they've taken game 1 already. And they're up 24-16 now. They've really done quite a job serving, also at the next. Nice combination of
that was a really nice hit by Stashuk there. That ball wasn't that close to the net, but she hit the hands. Smart hit for an outside hitter.
Pilnikova makes a decision at the last second, but really didn't get turned around. Tried to take that second ball over.
And that was with her left hand. Now watch Stashuk here. The ball goes deep, but she hits it nice high off the hands.
So close, but the point goes to Notre Dame, and now we see Adriana Stashuk back to serve. You know, Karch, Adriana's parents, if she had been a boy, they were going to name her Starch Stashuk because you're their idol. I don't know if you knew this.
I did not.
I can only say, no offense, but I'm so glad that they had a girl. I kind of think that Adriana flows a little bit better with
very glad
Stashuk.
That
Starch?
That she didn't get saddled with starch.
She wants to play beach volleyball and has watched you perform many times.
Well, she has a really nice all-around game. She's the strongest all-around player for this Notre Dame team and really provides a lot of leadership as one of their 2 starting seniors.
Well, definitely their best all around. It's hard to believe that she can be their outside hitter, but their best passer.
Bessel with some heat on that play, and Mango still almost.